Happy Easter. This Easter is going to be quite different for me. In February, I left a long-running staff television job and I've gone freelance. I'm meeting all sorts of new people, learning all sorts of new skills, going to new places, learning new ways of working. And that for me is going to be interesting this coming Easter weekend because I won't be off work for the full weekend. I will be working for some of it. And I know that for many of us in the media, that's quite normal. We don't get to take our rest times, our Sabbath times, when everybody else does. And so particularly for you, if that's you this Easter, I invite you to take a moment, whenever it is, whether it's a cold Tuesday morning or a wet Wednesday night, to mark your Easter Sabbath moment. And remember that death is dead, Jesus is alive, and he can meet you on your road to Emmaus whenever that might be.
Probably like many people, like many of you, I have been thinking a lot about Ukraine and our brothers and sisters there. And I, like many others, became at the start obsessed with scrolling through news footage about the conflict, seeing images of fearful or slaughtered men, women and children. It felt sometimes like we were looking at human suffering reduced to 280 characters on Twitter. I am 3 weeks away from the due date for my second child, and a few weeks ago I just decided that I couldn't take on much more of the horror and the violence. And then I was reminded of the part in John's Gospel where Mary, John and two other female disciples of Jesus are standing there at the foot of his cross. They're watching Jesus being crucified. But as his mother and as someone who loved him, I think she had to look. Love compels us to look and not to turn away. Who of us in our loved ones' most painful moments would choose not to stand with them, whatever it was that they were going through? I think this Easter we're being reminded to love. A love that compels us to look, to bear witness to others' suffering, not to pretend that it's not happening. Last Sunday at church we sang one of my favourite hymns, When I Survey the Wondrous Cross, and its glorious words compel us to see the sorrow and love, the blood, the crown of thorns, to really look and find the profound beauty in Christ's sacrifice. My prayer for us as Christians in media is that this Easter we will look again to the world that God is calling us to help create, a kingdom of hope rather than despair, a kingdom of life rather than death, and the victory that comes through Jesus' death and resurrection on the cross.
Good Friday is about Jesus' crucifixion, in other words, his death on the cross. That cross symbol has, of course, travelled amazingly far, like, for example, the small cross worn around some people's necks. Crosses are, of course, on flags, like the St. George's cross, but also the diagonal St. Andrew's cross even stems from Jesus' crucifixion. But the cross is not the end of the Easter story. The empty tomb days later, that is what made this faith a faith, I guess, because faith is what's needed to believe in that Easter Sunday resurrection. I think there's still a helpful reminder in Easter that bad times will pass, that beyond the mournful Good Friday there is the waiting of Easter Saturday and then that celebration of life on Easter Sunday. Wait, and beyond sorrow there's hope. That everything will be all right in the end, and if it's not all right, maybe it's not the end. Words borrowed from Mark Kermode and Simon Mayo. Unlike that Good Friday cross, which we see on flags, jewellery, even hot cross buns, there isn't really an Easter Sunday symbol, an empty tomb kind of symbol, apart from maybe hollow chocolate Easter eggs, theology in absent confectionery, or just better margins for profiteering chocolatiers, who knows. A solid chocolate egg, well, that would not work for the church or the chocolate industry. So when we are eating our hot cross buns and our Easter eggs, may I say bon appetit, but above all, a happy and hope-filled Easter, looking to better days ahead. God bless you, Christians in media.